On this episode of the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino, OU football, we're talking scrimmage, college football roundup. We talk SEC injury reports, Michigan and NCAA drama, and Texas losing its starting running back. And we finish up with our winners and losers of the weekend. Please download and subscribe to the podcast, rate it 5 stars, and write us a good review. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search Oklahoma Breakdown on any of those, and you'll find us. All right, our man Michael Hosty will kick this thing off. It's time for the Oklahoma Breakdown. It's a beautiful Sunday, August 11th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there's so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack, match, roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options in the month of August, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, simply the best. Ted Lehman, how we doing, sir?
Fantastic. Doing really
Love to
well.
hear it. We got a lot to talk about. One thing, if your business wants to advertise on the podcast this football season, please email us at the Oklahoma Breakdown at gmail.com. Let's start where we always start. Oklahoma football. Ted, you went to practice last week. You watched the scrimmage on Friday. Here's where I'll start, man. What did your eyes tell you? What'd you see?
Oh
What do
man.
you think, man?
Oh man, that is a you left the door wide open for me on that one.
Yeah, that's
Um
that's what that I'm a professional. That's what I do. Nice wide open question for you.
I I thought the defense looked really good. And you're going to have ups and downs throughout camp. Depending, like maybe that offense had a different install and they're trying some different things, and that you never know how some things can match up in training camp. But the defense looked really good at all three levels. Honestly, secondary, I thought I thought Billy Bowman and Robert Spears Jennings looked just outstanding, working the safety spots together. Um, Corner looked good. They were aggressive. I mean, there was very few, at least to the casual observer, very few, if any, mental busts. And that's the first and second team. It felt like guys, for the most part, in really good position to make plays. Um, and you saw all kinds of different guys rotate through. Obviously, Robert Spears Jennings and Bowman were the starters at safety, but you had Peyton Bowen back there. You had Reggie Powers back there, Hardy. Um, did I already say Boganowski? Like they were really good. Tackled well, physical. Again, like oftentimes you'll see whenever you get young guys in there, those guys are going to make mistakes, communication problems. Felt like it all went really good. Corner, bunch of different guys rotating through. Gentry Williams looked really good. Des Malone made a couple of plays. Kanai Walker was out there. Even some of the younger guys were rotating through and doing some really nice things. So I thought the secondary, I mean, all things considered, tackling, coverage, communication, not letting things behind them, all pretty good. I will say this though: first play of the scrimmage, it's hard to keep him from getting behind you, but Brennan Thompson um, beat somebody. I didn't catch who it was, but he was behind somebody, and ball was a little late, a little underthrown, but forced a pass interference call. But Brennan Thompson's back to scorching people again. But that was the only time the offense was really able to push the ball down the field on them.
So I feel like we had high expectations coming into the season for this defense.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a lot of confidence, still have a lot of confidence in the linebacking core, and we felt pretty dang good about the secondary. What about the defensive line? Kind of where are you at right now with what you've seen from the defensive line? Some new important pieces on that defensive line, but what's kind of stood out to you about those guys along the line of scrimmage for the defense?
I thought they looked really good. Um, I guess we start with the edge guys. Ethan Downs was, I mean, just like you would expect him to be, solid, always in the right place, physical at the point of attack. He created some chaos in the backfield a couple of times in some pass rushes. Caden Woolard looked really good. I think he had a couple of sacks, definitely one sack. Sometimes it's hard what they whistle a sack and what they don't. But he looked good. Trace Ford played quite a bit. Adebare played quite a bit. He looked good. Um, I know I'm missing someone. R. Mason Thomas was out there. It was R. Mason Thomas and Ethan Downs were your two starters that, like, once they get going, it's kind of hard to see who it is. They start to rotate quite a bit, but I think they went out with the first unit and constant pressure, really good against the run, physical. I thought that those guys, from what I could tell, played really sound and were, you know, it, I I still don't think we have someone that is just a pure, straight up, going to get around the edge every single time type of pass rusher. But I think we're just incredibly solid across all four or five or six guys that rotate through. Interior defensive line, I thought they looked incredibly solid. Um, Dominic Williams, incredibly tough. You can't move him off the ball at all. Dejon Terry looked really good. Can't move him off the ball. Um, Jaden Jackson, same thing. Those guys are physical. You're just not going to get any push. They fight double teams. The technique looks good. Uh, I don't now the offense hit on a couple of runs, but it wasn't because we're getting washed out of there on the defensive line at all. Um, and I thought Grayson Holton, he's a little bit different when you think about Dominic Williams, Dejon Terry, and Jaden Jackson, like bigger physical guys that are really good at holding point, getting push in the pass rush, but not getting blown off the ball. Grayson Holton is more of the penetrating and attack type of defensive tackle, which we need. He was in the backfield the entire night. Sacks, tackles for loss, just creating chaos. So those four guys right there, and there's some other guys that made some plays, but those four guys, that seems to me like if you had like a 4-man rotation, I think that's who's going to get the majority of those snaps. And I thought they performed really well.
I feel like Stutzman, Bowman, you think about, Ethan Downs. Those are those guys that we kind of know what we're going to get. We have high expectations for these older veteran guys. Has there been anyone up to this point in training camp on defense that has really stood out to you when it comes to their improvement, maybe from last year to where they're at now?
Yes. Robert Spears Jennings looks incredible. Kip Lewis looks fantastic. Um, I mean, it was great to see Gentry Williams back. He looked great. Really, really good. Um, Kendall Dolby, everyone looked good. It all looked really good. They tackled well. They flew to the football. They tackled in space. Couldn't get behind them. I thought there was Peyton Bowen looked good. Like I said, the young guys, man, you could just pick almost any name, and for the most part, I think they look much more confident, under control, in position. Like there's no chaos pre-snap. they'll be scrambling to get lined up, getting the calls in late when the offense is going tempo, but there's no like deer in headlight look or just guys that are lost and don't know what they're doing. Everyone seems really dialed in. It's the best I've seen the defense look since. I mean, with this group since they've been here. I mean, everyone looks really sharp.
Several players have said how Zach Alley has done a really good job of, I don't know if simplifying is the best word, but making the concepts and what they're doing easier to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like that's what you're seeing with your eyes when you're going out to practice.
Yeah. I mean, the backers were great. Stutzman and Kip Lewis started off. Um, and it's seamless. Stutzman is going to be the guy that makes plenty of big plays. He's where he's supposed to be. He's directing traffic. Kip Lewis is like, I don't know, the heat-seeking missile that's flying around out there all over the place in the backfield, doing really good things. And then, they switched it up, and Stutzman played the will where Kip was, and Kobe McKenzie came in and played Mike and looked really good. He's smart. He's physical. Like in the box, we know this how much punch he's got, and he's a knockback tackler. So like that rotation looked really good. Safety rotation, quarter like the secondary. I mean, there's it feels like you're too deep at most positions is really locked in, and it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of fall off really at any of the spots. I mean, I know there is, but it's not like, oh my gosh, here we go. So and so's in the game. You don't have any. You don't ever feel like there's a weakness out there, honestly.
You're making me feel so good about the defense that I'm scared about asking you how the offense looked in the
Well,
scrimmage.
that's kind of the thing, you know. That's one of the things that you never really know. Is it? I mean, I'll say this: like, forget what the result of any of the plays were. Like between the snaps and getting the guys where they're supposed to be, communicate like everything. Like, forget the results of any of the play. You can tell the defense is way ahead of where they were at this point last year. Just the calmness, the confidence, guys talking back and forth. It's not a fire drill at all. So you can tell just right away that they are on it. Now, when you get to the results, you're always playing that game of, are they good or is the other side bad? So it's hard to ever figure out exactly where you are. So I mean, and I think it's fair given the guys that are playing and the offensive line having to piece some different guys together and try and find some continuity in that group, that it would make sense that the defense would be ahead of where the offense is at this time. And that's where it looked like in the scrimmage.
Jackson Arnold, need him to play well for this team to have a successful season. Cannot turn the football over for this team to have a successful season. Getting a lot thrown at him by
Yep.
Brent Venables and Zach Alley in this defense. Where do you think he's at right now with his kind of progression as a player?
I think that he is in a very difficult spot going up against a veteran, seasoned defense that's really good. And they're trying to figure out the offensive line stuff right now. He just, in the passing game, it's almost hard to evaluate him at times because he just doesn't have a whole lot of time. Defense is like, and they're not like coming off the gas at all. I mean, they're bringing pressures, they're bringing different fronts, stemming right before the snap and bringing pressure and bringing safeties and bringing guys off the edge and double backer twisting up the middle. And they're throwing a lot at him, and he's under constant pressure. It's hard for him to ever set up, go through reads, and throw the football downfield. And, the handful of times whenever they did go like kind of a traditional drop back, there's nowhere to go with the football. I mean, they're over under receivers downfield, and he just doesn't really have many places to go with the football unless he's like he'd have to be making really high level throws as the pocket's caving on him. So it's kind of hard to evaluate. And it's not just offensive line. You know, a lot of those pressures, you're bringing the backs and the tight ends into the mix, and they're not winning a lot of those battles against the linebackers. And at least they weren't in the scrimmage. It was pretty constant that the quarterbacks just had no time to set up at all and throw. And I mean, like if I was to evaluate how both quarterbacks looked, I mean, neither guy had real opportunity to throw the football down the field. Mike Hawkins is like a little quicker to be able to pull it down, make a guy miss, and find some open field to run. But he was also going against the second team defense. So, I mean, it was a rough day in the passing game, and it was not an atmosphere for the quarterbacks to make a lot of great plays. Now, there was some nice stuff in the running game. There were some nice holes, some good physical runs. I thought Sawchuk looked sharp. He was fast. Made some guys miss and got some good open field opportunities. Javante Barnes looks great. Just the way his build is, he looks explosive when he's running the football. He had one that he was close to breaking, but kind of got ankle picked. But he was physical. He's tough to bring down. I thought Hicks was the same way. We've talked about this a little bit. Those three guys, I think they're all fairly close to one another, but they're all three a little bit different stylistically, which I think is nice. Sawchuk's your guy that's a little more likely to give some shake and try and kick it to the outside to find some open field. And I don't know like if he's necessarily faster, but it feels like he's a little bit quicker in some of those spots. And then Barnes is kind of more of a powerful type of runner. And I think Caleb Hicks is like maybe the marriage of those two styles to some degree. So I thought the running backs looked sharp.
No mention of wide receivers, and I'm going out on a limb and say that's connected to what you said about the offensive line and quarterback
Yeah, I
situation.
mean, it was tough to find looks, and they had a couple of opportunities where they had some drops, but most of the time you're throwing into contested footballs a lot, and a lot of that is great defense, confidence on the back end of what's happening, and a little bit also is when you're pressuring and you're getting home and you're in the secondary and that there's not going to be a whole lot of time to throw the football. Those guys they're squeezing things down tight. You're not getting pressure, and the quarterback's running around all day back there. Secondary is a lot less likely to start jumping everything that they see. So, at least on that day, they were really aggressive on trying to lock down some of those routes.
I think it's pretty clear you're feeling solid about the defense, and there's still a lot of practices before
Yeah.
they kick this thing off against Temple. But overall, with what you've seen, how are you feeling about the offense right now?
I feel like there's plenty of talent and plenty of potential for the offense. I think the protection stuff's all going to have to come around. And that I'm not just trying to throw all that on the offensive line. Like I said, they're running backs in that, tight ends in on that. The protection for the quarterbacks has to get a lot better. And I think it will. And I don't know necessarily what the health situation is on the offensive line and what the rotation situation is, but I think that that's still a bit of a work in progress. And you know, I think it's going to take a little bit of time. And we knew that. Like, we talked about that with the offensive line. You got different guys that you're trying at different positions and trying to find that right combination. You don't show up in the first week and find it and it all clicks and you're off to the races. You'd love for that to happen. And I guess sometimes it can, but I think there's going to be battles and there's guys that are going to continue to develop. I mean, you don't have fixed pieces where what you have today is what you get. Nobody's going to get any better. And you just got to deal with what you got and off we go. That's not going to be the case. I mean, they're going to continue to develop, continue to get better, learn the offense, find the feel for one another better. Technique's going to get better. They're going to start to recognize what the defense is doing against them a little bit better. So, I mean, I still have high hopes for the offense. I think there's plenty of potential there. And, I think we got plenty of skill talent. And I don't think it's going to take much at all for the offensive line to come together, find some comfort there, and the offense is going to be able to put things together and run efficiently.
It comes down having a great football team is all about balance. And in a perfect world, you've got a great, high-powered offense that's going to score you a ton of points, and you got a defense that's going to not let the other team score a bunch of points and force a bunch of turnovers. Like that's the perfect combination in football. But as things stand right now, it just feels like a team that is going to have to lean on its defense.
Yeah.
And if your football team, if the strength of your team is the defense, you have to find what a complementary offense to that defense looks like.
Yeah.
And yeah, you got to figure out all these, the offensive line, the guy, not only as, all the individuals got to get better, and whoever the 5 or 7 or 8 guys that end up playing a lot of snaps, those guys have to learn how to play together at a high level. They just have to. If they don't learn, OU's not going to have a good season. Bottom line, it's that simple. But you also have to start wondering, or at least I wonder, Ted, like what makes sense for this offense? Like, what if the defense is going to be as good as a lot of people, including us, think they're going to be? Like, what's a complementary offense for that defense look like, and how do you shape, your strategy, your philosophy, your play calling, like all that stuff around it? Like, you're always going to want to go score a ton of points, but you operate differently as an offense if you have what hopefully will end up being an elite defense. We don't know if it's going to be that. I think it's going to be good. Can it be great? Can it be elite? Well, only Saturdays in the fall will tell us that. But I do start to wonder, okay, if the defense is going to be as strong as we think it can be, like what's the complementary offense, especially with a young quarterback, look like for this football team?
Yeah. No, and you may lean a little bit more on the run than what we've seen. You may, they have tempo stuff and they can go fast, and they were doing some up tempo stuff in the scrimmage, but they may slow that down a little bit. To play to the defense, to some degree. You may. I thought they worked through some different personnel groupings that I liked, but no, I don't know. It's going to be interesting, and I'm with you. I'll say this though about the defense, and I don't know what is it going to look like against the competition that we face this year. I don't know, but just from what I've seen up to this point, I'd say and you're talking about everyone stays healthy. I feel pretty confident saying the floor of this defense is better than the ceiling of last year's defense. And that's how much more like just everything fits. For the most part, it's the same exact guys. I mean, what's the only difference? We got maybe a interior defensive lineman, maybe like the rotation at corners a little bit different. But for the biggest part, it's all the same guys. And you can tell it's all the same guys, and you can tell that they all have a year in the system. They're, a lot of those guys have developed quite a bit physically. I mean, you're talking about the same players in the same scheme, but whenever you start to add it all up, there's a lot more weight out there on the field in the same spots. So I'm really confident with what I've seen defensively, and their blitz package stuff is deadly.
Hopefully, they don't have to use that much of it.
Yeah. I'll tell you though, I think that they will anyways. Like that's just kind of how
Yeah.
Venables, he's aggressive. He does not he doesn't sit back a whole lot, at least like in the regular part of a football game. Situationally, obviously there's some stuff there, but I have a feeling they're going to be aggressive because I think they trust the secondary.
If you trust your secondary and you don't think, like, if you've got some good pass rushers, but you don't have a couple of guys that you feel really, really confident that they can win their one-on-ones consistently, then you dial up pressure. I mean, that's the defensive formula.
Yeah.
Trust your
Yeah.
secondary, bring the heat.
Yep.
If you feel like you have those type of guys.
I loved what I saw to say. Billy Bowman looks incredible. Him and Robert Spears Jennings both look great. Robert Spears Jennings looks huge on the football field. He's listed at 220 pounds at safety, looks every bit of it. When that ball is handed off, those two safeties, wherever they are on the field, are like digging towards the line of scrimmage, like ready to make guys pay. It looks good.
I am almost just blown away that you didn't even mention the Stutzman like 95-yard pick six, because you're just complimenting too many other guys on the defense. That, like, you don't even compliment Stutzman anymore because I feel like it's a given for you. You just like, hey,
Well,
this is what I expect from the guy. He's playing at an extremely high level. Oh, 95-yard touchdown. It's fine. That's fine. It's just what he does. Come on,
well,
man.
I don't even know how necessarily to classify that. Like it didn't it almost, I don't know if there was like an early whistle or something. Like there wasn't a whole lot of pursuit. Like there wasn't a pursuit at all. Like they gave up instantly. So it's like unofficial pick six, I guess. I don't
You're
know.
saying someone would have caught him in a real game setting.
No, I'm not saying that.
That's it. Sounds like that's what you're saying.
No, I'm not, I how do I say this? It was he made a lot better plays that day than that.
Oh, so
It
it's just
was
a
a
horrible throw. You can
yeah,
say it. It's just
it
a
was
horrible decision.
it was bad decision. Really
Okay.
bad decision.
There you
But
go.
I'll tell you, man, it is a bit unfair that Stutzman looks so good that you just kind of like expect it, so you don't mention it. But he's playing two different positions. He plays the will, like if he's out there with Kobe or Kanik or Lewis Carter. He plays the mic when he's out there with Kip, and he's in total control of the defense. The communication is great. Um, he's constantly on the sideline to get the call out there quicker, which is good. Tackling, he's physical. His blitz game, I think, it's not that he's he's always been a good blitzer, but I think he's even better right now, more aggressive. He does a great job when he comes up and plays, on that edge spot when they, stem down to that bear look. And he just looks great. Really good.
Let's try to end the scrimmage conversation on a positive note for the offense. What guy on offense stood out to you? What maybe impressed you? Was there anyone on the offensive side of the ball that you went, okay, hey, that's something that group can take away and go, hey, this guy, he did some really nice things.
Yeah, I thought there's plenty of stuff. Like I mentioned, I thought carrying the football, I thought the running backs all looked really good. Throw Franklin in there, looked really good. McCown even came in and looked really good. The dude, he always finds the end zone. It's incredible. Um, he's fun to watch. I thought the backs, when they're carrying the football, I thought they did a really good job. I really like Bauer Sharp and Jake Robertson. Um, is it Roberts or Robertson? I've
Roberts.
Roberts. Okay, I've flipped it in my head like 10 times now. Um, they look really good, and they're out there on the field together quite a bit, which I know you like. Um, they do quite a bit of really good things together out there. So I like the tight end spot. Um, wide receiver, they Brennan Thompson looks good. He looks fast, just like you would imagine. First play of the scrimmage, instantly behind whoever was covering him. Uh, Trying to think, I don't think they didn't get the ball to Burks very many times. I don't think. So I think receiver is just it's there. I think they got a lot of talent, but just because of the position, a lot has to happen right first before you get your opportunity. I thought both quarterbacks did some good things on the ground. I thought they both used their legs really good. I think Mike Hawkins, it would not shock me if we they if they I don't know if they had a package for him or if like he gets involved. I don't know how you whatever you want to say about it. Um, he's one of those guys like when he's got the football in his hand, you feel like we need to see that somehow. Like, how do you do it? I don't know. What do you label it? I don't know. But he's one of those guys. It's like I don't know that you want that standing on the sideline the whole game. You know what I'm saying?
He is extremely talented.
Yeah.
Arm
And I don't want to
talent.
make it. Yeah, I don't want to make it sound like it's only when he's running the football. That's not
No,
the case.
no. The most impressive, yeah, he has been he makes two or three throws every time I'm out there where I go, "Whew."
Yeah.
Like that's a big boy throw.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done that a lot since he's been on campus. So yeah, I don't who knows? Got no idea. But I continue to feel very good about OU's quarterback situation moving forward because of
Yeah.
Jackson Arnold and because of Mike Hawkins.
Yeah.
So I am, yeah, it ultimately it quarterback is the ultimate production position. So we'll see. But would it surprise me if Hawkins got on the field some at all in the non-conference? Not at all, because he can sling it and that dude can run, like
Yeah.
really run.
Yep. And he's a lot like. I mean, you've seen the guys. If the rush gets like too far up the field at all, and he goes, like it's like instant 10 yards first down before you even know what happened defensively, before you can even turn your eyes around and find where the quarterback or where the ball is. He's already 10 yards down the field. So, um, yeah, he's really good. I mean, there's plenty of stuff there to like, and it's hard to watch all of it. And I don't have the video to go back and review it. So you're just trying to catch bits and pieces live. So I'm sure there's plenty of good there with the offensive line. Like I said, some of the running stuff looked really good. They were getting movement. It was physical. And I'll say this about that offensive line group: they play with a lot of fire. I mean, there's of the practices and scrimmage I've been to, there's a lot of fights going on. I mean, they're coming to each other's defense a lot, and they're always like high fiving. I mean, there's good stuff happening there. I think it's just consistency and finding the right mix.
Still a lot of training camp left. I guess school's about to start, man. The season's almost here.
Yeah, there's a
It's
lot
less
left,
than three
but there's
weeks.
not a lot of time. It's like both.
Yeah. It feels like eternity, but also it kind of feels like it's tomorrow. So I don't think it's any secret the offensive line, if they can find the right mix up front, they're going to feel with all the talent at the skill positions, they're going to feel good about what this offense can accomplish. It's just finding that group up front. Now, let's save the alternate uniform conversation for Wednesday's episode,
Yes.
because that was a lot of scrimmage. That was a lot of scrimmage, and we got some fun stuff to get to in the college football roundup. But first, get road trip ready this summer with Love's Travel Stops, your leader in highway hospitality. Download the Love's Connect app and unlock a 10-cent per gallon discount on gas and auto diesel at more than 640 Love's locations. Stock up on snacks and drinks with mobile deals and drink club rewards. Forgot something at home? Love's Mobile to Go Zone has you covered from phone chargers to headphones. Love's Travel Stops is your one-stop shop for clean places and friendly faces.
And celebrate with a Schooner All-American Ale, the official craft beer of OU Athletics from Coop Ale Works. Named after the iconic Sooner schooner that races across Owen Field after an OU score, you can join in on the celebration with an ice-cold beer from Coop Ale Works. You can enjoy it at the Palace on the Prairie, at OU Athletic events, at the bar, at the tailgate, and in the comfort of your own home. For more information on Schooner All-American Ale, visit SchoonerAle.com. Must be 21 to purchase. Please drink responsibly. Schooner All-American Ale, the taste of game day.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, the Oklahoma-owned drinkware company and #1 drinkware sales leader on Amazon and Target. And this year, Simple Modern is now the official drinkware sponsor of University of Oklahoma Athletics. Keep on the lookout. You're sure to spot exclusive drinkware options at all home games so you can stay hydrated while supporting your favorite Oklahoma team. And with 10% of all Simple Modern profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, you'll also know you're helping Oklahomans off the field as well. Simple Modern, good everywhere. Some interesting stories this week in the world of college football, Ted. Let's start here. According to CBS Sports, the SEC is going to implement mandatory injury reporting. Remember, the Big Ten started doing this last year. What do you think, Ted? What's your initial reaction? Big deal, not a big deal, like it, not like it?
I've kind of gone around and around on this thing. At first, I was like, okay, cool. Maybe we'll get some better information on what's going to happen. But I don't necessarily think you are. You may get an official ruling on a guy. What, 90 minutes out? Do you know exactly what
the Big Ten rule is an official injury report 2 hours before kickoff?
2 hours. Okay.
No one knows if that's what the SEC is planning on doing. And I, for one, think an injury report that you get 2 hours before kickoff is worthless. It's not worthless. I get this whole thing, the conversations around sports gambling.
Yeah.
I understand that. But they keep bringing up this thing like, oh, if we do an injury report, then people will not try to get as much information from players, coaches, staff members. Yeah, they will. What? They're still going to ask if if they know they're only going to get it 2 hours before the game, they're going to try to get it as early as possible so that they could get the best odds on whatever bet they want to make. Like that's not going to change. So I wonder if the SEC is going to, could they implement a more like NFL style system? That would make the most sense to me.
Yeah. I I don't know. I mean, I guess it's going to be. I guess it's a little more beneficial for coaches. If you have a guy that you thought was going to play, and it turns out 2 hours before that he's not. I mean that can change a game plan quite a bit instead of learning it on the fly. First series comes up, he's not in, but is he going to come back in? Like, is he? You never know. But if someone's like declared out, I mean, that can change how you call some stuff. But honestly, it's taken me a long time, but I I kind of like the dumb stuff of college football to some degree. Like the fact that you don't know who's going to play, and he's still standing over there on the sideline with his helmet, and is he coming in? Or some of that stuff is what gives college football its charm to some degree, I guess.
As a guy that had to warm up before a game that he knew he was not going to play in because of a concussion the previous week in college, it is. Come on. I mean, some of it is silly. It's just
Yeah.
silly. But I kind of think I know what you're saying. Like some of the shenanigans of college football is what makes college football college football. It sounds like this is happening. I just don't know what the system is going to be. It's interesting because Brian Kelly, I remember watching some of LSU stuff last season. Like he would give an injury update on Monday and then another one on Thursday. And no one was requiring them to do that. They just decided, hey, this is what we want to do. So I'm just interested in what the system is going to be. And all that really matters is that it's equal for everyone in the SEC. That's all that really matters. As long as you don't have no one's at a competitive disadvantage, then I got no problems with it. Now, maybe the most interesting part is what happens if someone fudges their injury report? Because you do
Yeah.
that in the NFL and there are consequences.
Big fine. Yeah. I don't know. Um, when in doubt, have the Belichick injury report system where the entire team is listed on anyone that's even walked past the training room is on the injury report and doubtful. Or what is it?
Tom Brady was on the
Questionable.
injury report every week for eternity.
Yeah, questionable. We'll see if anyone is going to show up and play this week. Now, if they really wanted to make the playing field level, they do what the NFL does with your active roster. Your game day roster. But again, I don't want them to do that.
There is part of me that's like, these guys are making money now. Just treat them like professionals. Here's your
Yeah.
here's your new injury report system. Everyone's going to know whether you practiced or not every single day. Were you a full participant? Were you a partial participant? Did you not participate? Do you get the old DNP? Did not participate. I
Yeah.
whatever system they use, I don't think it's going to be. I really don't think this is going to be a big deal at all. It just is. It's just something new, something different, something that
Well,
affects Oklahoma. That's why we're talking about.
I'll say this. Like, there's going to continually be a trickle of stuff like this. And it's all gearing up for the big, opt in of the top tier of college football where it's pay for play. I mean, that's what's going to happen here, and it's going to be injury report stuff. And yeah, in the off season, we're probably going to start making tweaks and stuff to transfer portal and all of that. And eventually, there's going to be like that new tier of college football where schools have an opportunity to opt into it or opt out, and like it's going to be NFL light.
I do wonder when you look at the SEC now, they have one broadcast partner. It's the SEC and ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is a conspiracy theory or not, but I wonder how much the broadcast partner, now that they own ESPN Bet, how much influence they had in there being an SEC injury report. Because I know this, they own a betting company now. They also, and OU is guilty of this under Lincoln Riley, like ESPN has been burned by some of those situations where they do features on guys leading into a game, and then those guys end up not playing in the football game. And I can tell you, when OU did that with CD Lamb, I can tell you there were a lot of people at ESPN that were absolutely furious about that whole situation.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is like how does a like an off the field issue, because right now you don't know, is he going to miss the first half, is he going to miss the first series, is he suspended for the first game, like a lot of that stuff you don't know. And
Is being a dumb college kid considered an injury? Bad
I don't
decision
know.
making is
Well,
bad decision making. Does that make the injury report?
how do you label it if a guy's not going to play in the first half or something,
If it's injury related, he goes on the injury report.
if it's not, it's just
If it's dumbassery, then I don't.
questionable.
Dude,
He's questionable.
questionable. I don't know. Do you put him on there?
I don't know. It's interesting.
We'll see what comes of this, but I would assume it's only going to be required when SEC teams are playing other SEC teams. That's that's my
Yeah.
assumption, because you certainly don't want to be putting out an injury report when your opponent isn't putting it out.
Yeah.
So non-conference, I could be wrong. We'll see, but yeah, it seems like that's going to happen, and it's going to be interesting to see what the system looks like that the SEC is going to implement.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll. I. It doesn't affect me at all. I guess I like it, but like I said, like some of the quirks of college football is what gives it its charm to a certain degree.
What would Jaden Gibson be on the injury report right now?
Questionable.
Questionable. We haven't asked people. If you've listened to this podcast long enough, you know we don't go down that road. It's not what we do. A guy that would be listed as out for the season, Texas running back CJ Baxter, season-ending knee injury in practice. Ted, this was a guy who's going to be their starting running back. I thought he looked really good once Jonathan Brooks went down a season ago as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a guy he looks exactly how you want him to look at running back.
Mm-hmm.
6'1", 220 pounds, can catch the football, elusive, but finishes with power. Like, he is a really, really good running back with an extremely bright future. And all of a sudden, he's out for the season. You look at that running back room for the Texas Longhorns, and it's not full of a bunch of experience. They've got Jaden Blue, who's played some football for him, and then a bunch of guys that haven't played in any college football for Texas. So all of a sudden, you look at that situation, and it feels like Texas is one other injury away in the running back room for being in a bad situation at that position.
Yeah.
which
And
is
I
crazy
think,
because they have recruited really, really well at that position.
yeah,
It just is. I mean, you lose your starting running back in college football. Doesn't matter how much you've recruited, how well you've recruited, really. Like, there's very few teams that are 4 or 5 running backs deep.
yeah. And, I think Ewers needs a really good running game to back him up. I think it helps their offense out a lot, which is, it's no different necessarily than anyone else. But yeah, that's a tough one. And you're right. He is big and he is physical. Um, and I don't think you get anywhere close to the same punch with Blue. Now, I'm sure he's better in some different areas. And Sarkisian's really good at playing to different guys' strengths and building offense around those guys. But I know if I was playing against Texas, I would be pointing at Blue as the running back I'd want to face. I mean,
I mean, he's
just
20 pounds lighter,
yeah,
20 pounds lighter than Baxter. Now he's got speed. He's an
yeah.
elusive guy. Like, he's a talented player, but you talk about it all the time. You line those two dudes up in the backfield, you're going, please give the ball to Jaden Blue and not to CJ Baxter.
First quarter doesn't matter. Second quarter doesn't matter. Third quarter, it's like I'd really like to see Blue be in the game a little bit more. In the fourth quarter, it's like, dear God, please put the small guy in.
I I'm interested in what Sarkisian, like, does he need to make some changes to what he wants to do offensively? They've got a couple of talented freshmen. Maybe one of those guys emerges like Baxter did a year ago, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Sarkisian adjusts to different personnel.
Well, here's the thing. This isn't 100%, but it's really close to it. Freshman, really good at running the ball, really bad at blocking. And whenever those are the guys that you're forced to use offensively, the defense notices that. The freshman's in, high likelihood they're handing this pill off. They're not going to put him in a position where he's going to have to protect a whole heck of a lot. Sometimes it's unavoidable. I get that, but I mean, you can use that information to your advantage defensively.
I I think it's something that is going to be very interesting to monitor throughout the season. I don't know. I mean, Baxter was preseason second team All SEC. Like, the expectations for that guy were very, very high.
Mm-hmm.
And it had a lot to do with a lot of people thinking that offense for Texas is going to be really, really good with all the players they have back along the offensive line, with Ewers back. But yeah, man, I saw that, and it feels like a big blow for that football team. And I don't know. We'll see how it all shakes out. Steve Sarkisian, undoubtedly, he's going to have some plays designed for the other guys, right? He's one of the best offensive minds in college football, but losing your starting running back before the season even starts, that sucks, man.
Well, okay, like, and it also matters. For example, for us, we talked about some of the things we're going through offensively right now. Well, it's a nice little benefit that we have 3 non-conference games in a row that I'm not saying that we can just show up and win the game, but we will be a very heavy favorite in those 3 games. Week 2 of the season, Texas going on the road to play at Michigan. And that is a place where you would like to have a 220-pound running back. That
And
is
some of the defensive linemen they've got,
oh my
yeah.
God, that front 7 is
Ooh.
tough as nails. So, I mean, that is one that's going to affect them right out of the gate.
And Texas fans know better than anyone, and OU fans certainly know. There are some short yardage and goal line situations for Texas last year. Things did not go particularly well.
Yeah.
And it'd be awfully nice. I'm sure that was a big point of emphasis in the offseason for Steve Sarkisian and his staff. Like, we got to get better at short yardage. We got to finish drives. We got to convert on fourth down. And I'm sure they envisioned handing it to Baxter every time in those situations.
Yeah, we don't have to practice that as much. We're good this year. Yeah,
I,
that's
college college is not like the NFL, in my opinion. Like the the running back position still matters.
mhm.
I feel like the running back position in college football matters more, or I put more value on it than maybe I do the running back position in the National Football League.
Yeah. It's a lot harder to run the RPO stuff on the goal line. The big bailout for everyone. You
It
know,
all it
it's
all comes back to our hate for RPOs.
well, I mean,
Make
that's
make the rules in the NFL and college football the same, please. A legal man downfield is 1 yard, and we don't have to watch all the RPO stuff anymore. Please.
which
I don't have to
at
watch
the
an inside
scrimmage,
backer being blocked with where there's a slant being thrown behind him. Actually, I do love those because I said every single one I see to Teddy.
I wanted to scream at the officials during the scrimmage. There was the time it happened. Like, what are we doing here? Yeah. Well, I don't know. I know that they've got a lot of talent, and Sarkeesian's really good at finding the best ways to build his offense around his guys. So they're gonna have to find a solution really quickly.
Week two's coming for
Yep.
that football team. And their opponent just can't stay out of the news.
Yes.
What's the best way to put it, Ted? Michigan and the NCAA appear to hate each other. So
Yeah.
last week you had the NCAA announcing the 4-year show cause for Jim Harbaugh, which basically bans him from college football for the next 4 years. And now that goes back to the recruiting violations, the stuff during COVID, the cheeseburger story, all of that, him lying to the NCAA or allegedly lying to the NCAA. This is not the Connor Stallions thing. So there's that. Then you've got Sharon Moore, the new head coach. Hey, Boomer Sooner, Sharon, let's go, man. Rooting for you. But it comes out that he's got deleted text messages with Connor Stallions. We'll see what all comes of that. So you would think with all of this going on, and especially they're coming off a national championship, nothing they could possibly say or do would send a better message to the NCAA than going and winning the national title. And they went and did it. So you would think, maybe they'll lay low, they'll chill out. No, Ward Manuel, their athletic director, comes out on a podcast and says, oh, by the way, we're going to bring Harbaugh back to be an honorary captain for their opener against Fresno State. I mean, they do not care about anything the NCAA says. And I won't lie, I kind of love the boldness.
Yeah. I did
Oh, you
too.
want to suspend our old coach? You're looking into suspending our new coach? Oh, we're just going to bring the old guy back, let him walk out for the coin toss for everyone to see. Just a giant middle finger to your association.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing: it's like unless you got a different read on it than I do, they don't have anything on Harbaugh other than he wouldn't cooperate with the investigation. Like they wanted him to review what was it, like 6,000 emails and all these text messages and all these call logs, and they're like, no, not going to review them, not going to go through them, not going to give them to you. We're moving on. So part of me is like, yes, that's how you handle the NCAA, but I don't know. It's just it looks like the NCAA wants to be the annoying housefly that just won't get off the food, but you're not going to cancel the picnic. You know, you're just gonna roll on with it.
Michigan versus the NCAA has become one of the more entertaining things for me in college athletics.
It
It's
reminds me of
it's
like
a fun back and forth.
you remember my cousin Vinny whenever the guy in the pool hall is wanting to fight him the whole time, and he keeps telling him, go get the money. That's just a 20, wrapped with a bunch of ones. You get the money, then we'll fight. So I feel like that's the conversation right now. NCAA wants a fight with Michigan, and they're just like, no, not happening.
I that or they're just taking the NCAA like stuffing them in a locker. That's kind of how it feels. I
Well, the direct punch is coming from Joe Pesci.
the Well done, sir. I I do wonder what the NFL thinks about all this. And they rarely meddle in college football affairs. They've done it some, right? But the NFL has the best minor league system imaginable. All of these college football players go out and play. The NFL doesn't have to pay them a dime. They get to evaluate all of these people. All these schools are pumping incredible amounts of money into these guys and developing them physically. The NFL doesn't have to do anything.
And developing the star power so people
Yeah,
watch
they
them whenever
they
they go
turn
on.
these guys into brands. Then these guys bring their brand to your organization. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
the NFL's got a great gig going with college football. So I do wonder if Roger Goodell kind of looks at Jim Harbaugh and hey, he goes, Jim, could you just chill out with this, man? Like, could you not go out for the coin toss for the opener? Like, could you just focus on the Chargers and just leave that in the past? Like, it just constantly keeps coming up again and again and again.
He's got the show cause, and next it's going to be like a ceremonial calling of the first play. Where he's got a headset on over there. Is he coaching? Is he not coaching? What's actually happening there?
It's, it is the it continues to develop. It feels like new layers are getting added each and every time I read something about the NCAA in Michigan, and it's only getting more entertaining. So I'm not going to rule anything out when it comes to Harbaugh and him not wanting to cooperate with the NCAA at all. So I'm not really getting anything out. This ceremonial first play call. That's so good.
The NCAA, they want those damn computer logs so bad that they don't know what to do with themselves until they get them, right? We need to know. Everyone has always bowed to our every demand, handed over all kinds of stuff forever. And we still punished them because we could, but having that power over everyone was I think they really enjoyed it. And now they don't have it. They don't know what to do.
Michigan is we'll continue to monitor the developments because they will undoubtedly continue to be very entertaining for me.
Yeah. How much do you think the Oklahoma State basketball situation affected how schools dealt with the NCAA? Because I don't feel like anyone has given them anything since that's happened.
Well, it was the North Carolina situation, remember? Do you remember that with the fake class? That was North Carolina, wasn't it? I
Yeah.
think that was North Carolina basketball. I think they fought it like hell and nothing ended up happening to them. The Kansas situation.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the Oklahoma State.
Yeah, they made a massive mistake. And I said it when they did
That's
it.
right.
I told Mike Boynton on the radio, do not comply with the NCAA.
Yeah. It's like everyone finally, yeah, you point out a handful of those cases. It's like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to fight it and fight it and fight it and fight it and draw it out and draw it out. Eventually, all of like when something initially happens, all of the other fan bases are like, oh, yeah, you guys are going down. But like if you just delay and delay and delay, everyone moves on to other things. The pressure's gone.
Fascinating. Don't cooperate with the NCAA, people. Don't do it. Let's finish up with our winners and losers of the weekend. But first,
Oh, you grill masters, listen up. Didier Ranch delivers premium quality beef that is 100% raised in Oklahoma right to your front door. Go to DidierRanch.com, DIDIER ranch.com to order one of their premium quality beef boxes and use promo code Oklahoma15 for 15% off your order. Filet, ribeye, New York strip, sirloin, steak burgers. They've got it all, and they ship anywhere in the continental U.S., and Oklahomans get deliveries in just 1 to 2 days. The only thing better than having a lot of premium beef on the O&D line is having premium beef delivered right to your front door. Didier Ranch. Tradition tastes better.
And head to the garage for hand smashed patties, butter toasted buns, and some ice cold beer. It's the perfect spot to watch any big game. And with all garage locations being open at 10 p.m. or later every night, it's the go-to late night spot. Visit eatatthegarage.com to find a location near you and order online from the garage in your neighborhood.
3 things matter in banking: service, service, and service. First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise, it's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they're honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you're headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go.
As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
Drake Stoops. First catches in the NFL tonight. Really cool for him. Glad to see him get some action, get out there on the field, make a couple of nice grabs, little 2-minute drill, caught the the motion and took it out to the flat, turned it upfield, nice 8 or 9 yard gain, then ran a little option route, turned it up the field, nice little gainer there. It's cool to see him out there making plays.
3 receptions for Drake for 27 yards. For those of you that are talented at math, that's 9 yards per catch.
Bam.
I'm not sure if he's going to make their 53 or not, but I will be very, very surprised if he's not in that organization. Like I'm not betting against that guy at the very least being on that practice squad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just a football guy, man. Just a guy you want on your football team.
And, NFL is very good at building a roster with guys that are, good at different things. And then obviously offenses and play callers are really good at building around what those guys do. And, the plays that I saw, I didn't watch the whole game. I just, I saw someone mention it, went back and watched some of those highlights. It's the stuff that he's best at is what he was doing for the Rams. And there's a need for that in the NFL. Can it be difficult to get on a 53? Absolutely. But he'll continue to develop. And if you can get a spot on the practice squad, you never know what could happen.
Stetson Bennett threw 4 picks in that game, by the way.
Ouch.
Not what you're looking for. Not what you're looking for. You know who else looked good? And it was a guy that you and I both really, really liked, even though he wore burnt orange during his career. Healthy Jordan Whittington is a hell of a football player.
He is. He's a really good athlete too.
When he is right physically, and he's piled up some injuries by this point in his career already. But when that dude is right, that's a good wide receiver, man.
Yeah. He's kind of been in a weird spot. Like you got Xavier Worthy, who's got the great speed, and last year was A.D. Mitchell with the size and the stuff that he could do. You kind of you always naturally feel like, well, the next guy is the guy that's not like some explosive athlete. And I feel like he's really good athletically. So no, he's a good player.
They played the Cowboys. Hey, Jerry Jones, find some urgency. Pay that man CeeDee Lamb. Stop saying silly things to the public, Jerry. What are you doing? He took that situation and dumped gasoline on it.
What are you going to what do you honestly though, you can't not go into the season. CeeDee Lamb has to be on your roster.
Yes.
They're going to just, maybe they already are, just fine him until it's so painful he has to show up. Is that what's going to happen? It's
I
not a very good way to do business.
just pay him. He's arguably the best wide receiver in the league. Just pay him. He's been very reliable.
Do you think he should be holding out?
Yes.
Yes.
Get your money. Do you disagree?
Well, I don't know.
I wonder if I wonder if now CD had an incredible season last year, and you want to get that security for the future, only having the 1 year left on your deal. And they had a it's not a similar situation, but they had the Zach Martin situation last year, and the deal got done before the season.
Mhm.
So I wonder if he looks at all that, and then you've got the Justin Jefferson deal, all these wide receivers getting paid. That CD was more productive than last year.
Yeah. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that he's not doing the right thing. Perhaps he is. I'm just saying that I don't think I would do it that way. I mean, because if I'm still under contract, it's my duty to be there playing at the best of my ability. And is it way better to get that security and get the future locked down? Well, absolutely it is. And I can't really necessarily, it's hard to, I mean, it's one thing if I want to be here, you want me here, I'm not under contract, I'm not showing up to practice until I'm under contract. Like I'm not doing that for you, but when you're currently under contract, it's a weird thing for me. Maybe I should just find the little piece in my head that is not screwed in right and screw it in properly. And I know that they would screw me at any opportunity that they had. I know that. But it's still to me, I don't know. It doesn't feel right.
Your loyalty is admirable and stupid.
It's what'll get you killed, which is probably true. I don't know. It's just a weird thing to because you're holding out, you're under contract, you're holding out. And this is why I didn't like the NFL as a player, is because it's like, come on, guys, aren't we supposed to be a team here? Like you're supposed to be with us. And I say all that still understanding like the position that everyone's in. So I'm not saying that he's doing the wrong thing. I'm just saying like I would have a hard time doing it myself. But if I was waiting for the type of money he's waiting for, maybe I wouldn't have a difficult time
I was about
doing
to
it.
say maybe your tune would change if you're
Yeah,
staring at a 125, $130 million contract.
yeah. I mean, that's definitely a factor.
Who do you have as your loser of the weekend?
The Olympics have been awesome. I've loved it. A wide range of sports that I've seen, I think were great. Um, I watched like some of the skateboard stuff and the BMX stuff, which whenever they entered that into the Olympics, I was like, that is not an Olympic sport. What are we doing? Still kind of believe that, but enjoyed watching it, thought it was awesome. Now, breakdancing, on the other hand, when they announced it, I thought it was stupid as hell. And when I watched it, I, can everyone agree now that this is ridiculous and it should never be an Olympic sport again?
I I'm gonna I'm gonna answer your question with the question.
Okay.
Are we sure we saw the best break dancers the world has to offer?
It does not matter.
It's hard for me to believe. What was it? I think the lady Australian, the one that
Yes.
was the every
And
clip.
frankly, I feel horrible for her because, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like worldwide. It's like
She
that's not
she
trending
was
in
my
Australia.
timeline. She was on like every tweet on my timeline for several hours. It felt like it was
And
just clips of her.
like all of the, like, these gummies aren't anything 15 minutes later, like all of those like different,
Yes.
I mean, there's like 100 of them and they're all hilarious. Oh man.
Oh, I
But
don't feel anything, bro. These aren't so.
I don't know, man. I guess you could say the floor routine in gymnastics is like dancing, but I don't care. I It is a fight I'm willing to have forever, that breakdancing should not be an Olympic sport. And whether or not you had the best in the world there, I know you didn't. We've all seen, you could go down any street corner anywhere in the country and see breakdancing a million times better than that. Our timelines are full of it. It's going to be very difficult to overcome, though, for the Olympic Committee to put it in again, right? Because of that one, that may be the most shared clip of the entire Olympics.
It was everywhere. I I watched it, Ted. I watched it 30 times. I I was not blown away by the breakdancing either. However, could it be a situation with the United States hosting in 2028 where they're like, we're going to make breakdancing great for our Olympics? Do Americans care about breakdancing?
I don't
Is that a
know.
passionate topic? Is it a passionate topic in our beautiful country?
Apparently, people spend an unbelievable amount of time dancing, which I think is stupid. And like what I think is awesome about the Olympics is I it it pushes people into things that they may otherwise not ever do. I If you were really inspired by watching some of the track relays are awesome. Some of the races it are just come people like collapsing over the line. That to me is what sports is, and that's what you want to push people into. I don't want to push people into breakdancing. I'm sorry. Like if people want to go do that, fine, but I don't want to use the Olympic platform to push that. I think it's a massive waste of time. I'm sorry. When it comes to sports,
Your official stance is breakdancing has no place in the Olympics.
no place. I
Okay.
respect it. The people that, I mean, we've all seen clips where they do amazing things, and that's fine. I want breakdancing to thrive somewhere other than the Olympics.
I
I Once every 4 years. I'm sorry. I love track and field. I love the Olympic weightlifting. I love watching the swimming, the dive. I love watching that stuff. I don't want to spend any time watching breakdancing chipping into those other sports. I don't ever get to watch it any other time. I don't want to see that crap on my TV. I'm sorry.
I breakdancing feels like one of those disciplines where going and competing in the Olympics is in it is like not cool.
Oh yeah.
You like if
Uh,
you were a no at the I won't lie, I do not know any famous breakdancers currently,
mhm.
but I'm not on top of the I'm not plugged into that scene currently. But I can't imagine the best breakdancers in the United States or China or wherever. Like, you know what I want to do? Go compete in the Olympics. That will make people respect. Like, it
You're
feels like it's
right.
not like the other sports where it's like, hey, the best of the best go and do it because it's this huge thing for its sport. I don't. I could be wrong, but I don't feel
Well,
like that's the case
I
for
think you're
breakdancing.
right. You're right. And it should make you hate breakdancing even more. Because if finally, after all of this time, You've been spinning on a piece of cardboard out on the street. You get an opportunity to have a worldwide audience, to maybe make some money, to get well known, to maybe do it. You go do it on the Good Morning America. You won a gold medal. Awesome. Here's so and so. You become a household name. You may actually make a living doing it. And if you've decided that it's not rebel enough or whatever it is, and you're not going to go do it because of that, well, then you're stupid. And it definitely shouldn't be an Olympic sport.
I love how you just blamed breakdancing, not knowing that maybe the best breakdancers in the world were in it, and we just have
True.
no idea.
That's true. And I'm
Just went
mad
at
that it took up my
breakdancing's
TV
neck for
time
no
and I
reason.
didn't watch any of it. It took up none of my Olympic time. But no. But there's softball wasn't in.
Will be next Olympics. What's up?
But make me the case where softball is not an Olympic sport, but breakdancing is. You can't do it. Or
Well, I
wrestling.
mean, I
They want
can.
to eliminate wrestling like the original Olympic sport. No.
Ted Lehman, anti breakdancing. Who knew? Now you know, people. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. But first,
Attention, business owners, you need Insurica in your life. Insurica is one of the country's largest insurance brokers with 30 offices throughout Oklahoma, Texas, and the Southwest. They compare and contrast coverages, coverage offerings, and pricing from many insurance carriers in order to design a cost-effective, comprehensive program to meet your business's specific needs. If your business partners with Insurica, you'll save huge amounts of money and take back control of your total cost of risk. If your business wants to be best in class, connect with Insurica at insurica.com. That's INSURICA.com.
and head to opolisclothing.com for our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's OPOLIS clothing.com and use promo code TED, TED, for 10% off. That's opolisclothing.com. Use promo code TED for 10% off. Buttery soft and 10% off. My winner of the weekend, Team USA. We invented the sport, and we are still the best at basketball, baby.
Mm-hmm.
That was the semifinal game, made me real uncomfortable. I thought Serbia had us.
Yeah.
I thought they had us, Ted. And then the final, a hell of an effort from France. Americans, we were just a better team. Steph Curry is that guy.
Oh my gosh, what a fourth quarter.
I mean, the fourth quarter of the semifinal, or just the entire game in the semifinal, like he was the reason they won that game. What do you have, 36?
Crazy.
I mean, it was unbelievable. And this
36
was
and
coming
like
off
12 of it in the last 2 minutes or something. I don't know what it was. It was awesome.
And by his standards, he had not been good in the Olympics. I mean, there was a lot of conversations. When is Steph Curry going to be Steph Curry in these Olympics? And all he did was hit like 17 threes in the last two games. The fourth quarter, the last 3 minutes of the gold medal game, watching him pour those 4 threes in and being able to cheer for that and not feel like I was having my soul ripped out of my body by him. It was a fun feeling. I mean,
yeah, it's weird to watch him shoot the ball and actually want it to go in, right?
It was like I wasn't dreading it. I was like, oh, here it goes. Like I was screaming, happy screaming, not why Steph. It was, and we had never experienced that. I had never experienced that before because it was his first Olympics. And it was wildly entertaining. It's so much damn fun to watch, man. I mean, he was incredible in those last two games. And that just barrage of threes to finish France off was, oh my gosh, man. They
didn't go down easy though. Like, give it up
No.
to France for hanging around. They were answering with some shots of their own.
That Wembanyama guy, It's gonna be pretty good.
He's good. He needs to stop passing the damn ball in the lane in traffic, though. What's he doing?
I
Does he
don't know.
recognize how much taller he is than everyone else?
I
Just get the little baby hook.
just be more selfish, Victor.
Yeah. He's still like, oh. To see him stand next to like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, it's like, where is that alien from? It's crazy how tall he is.
Just a reminder, he's 20 years old.
Golly.
I mean, he's born in 2004.
Yeah, the same year LeBron went to the NBA.
Speaking of LeBron, Olympic MVP, no argument here.
Is that weird that there's like a MVP?
No, there's an MVP of like every tournament. Why is that? Why do you think that's weird?
What do you mean of every tournament?
Well, think of all the major basketball tournaments.
Yeah.
The NBA EuroLeague MVP for their tournament. I mean,
okay. Does
March
soccer,
Madness,
Olympic soccer, do they have an MVP?
no idea. I don't watch Olympic soccer. Yes, I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I know the women won. Way to go, ladies.
I just
Great
didn't
job.
know it's like a, is that like specifically a basketball thing? And I know there is like an NBA playoffs and all of that stuff. I don't know. I was just like, I didn't know they gave away anything other than medals at the Olympics, I guess is what I'm saying.
Do you get anything for the MVP or are you just named MVP?
I don't, that's kind of my question.
LeBron James, he showed up to the women's gold medal game, which, by the way, what a basketball game. France gave us all we wanted. That got tight. The thing was tight late. I was a little uncomfortable, but good guys end up winning. I feel like if there was an MVP trophy or something, you got like he would have worn it because he wore his gold medal to the game, to the women's gold medal game. So I wonder if there is like an MVP medal, or you get nothing for it.
It doesn't go to the medal count.
Yeah.
Unless
so maybe you get nothing
gold,
for it. Maybe you're just,
silver,
hey,
or
congrats.
bronze MVP winner.
Maybe you get a certificate.
Yeah. I don't know. When I saw that, I was like, huh, interesting. I don't know if there's any other awards like that. But I know there was the conversation between how do you not give it to Curry? But I mean, if we're talking the whole tournament, it was LeBron.
I agree. Curry was incredible in the last two games. Durant was awesome.
Yep.
First American man to win 4 gold medals. One of maybe the best Olympics basketball player we've ever seen. Like he's an insane NBA player. And I feel like if he played international basketball, he would be even more dominant than he's been as an NBA player. He just, I don't know, it just suits him. But in a weird way, I felt like going into the Olympics and looking at the roster, I kind of wonder, okay, there always feels like there's a big winner of the Olympic experience.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was Devin Booker, man. He was awesome.
Yeah, he was.
It's like you could have asked, you could have surveyed 100 people and said, hey, is Devin Booker a better basketball player than Jason Tatum? And I don't think maybe you would have gotten a couple people that said, yeah, he is. But everyone said, no, Tatum is the man. And the Tatum situation got a little awkward, but Devin Booker was fantastic. Was hitting shots, shot the 3 incredibly well, was playing great defense, just was flying around. I mean,
He's watching got the most relatable game.
No, but watching him play the way that he did at the Olympics, I was like, damn. I think Devin Booker is better. I have a different opinion of Devin Booker now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no.
And maybe I shouldn't, but I do.
No, I get what you're saying.
I don't have a less of an opinion than Jason Tatum. Like the man just went and won a title. that whole situation, it got weird, but I do have more respect for Devin Booker now. I don't know. It's just
Well, what I think is interesting about him, and what I mean by relatable, like everyone else is like a one-off freak show. There's no one else that shoots like Steph Curry. There's no one else that has like LeBron's overall, like what he does physically. Kevin Durant, Embiid, they're all one-off freak shows. But Devin Booker's like a guy like that could be on every NBA team, it feels like. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not to take away with how good he is, it's just he's not like a one of a kind like everyone else on the team feels like they are to some degree.
he's not just a physical alien.
Yes, I mean that's it.
Yeah. No, that's fair. But it was great in the
He's
Olympics.
good. Yeah, he's great.
I thought it was really great. 5 straight Olympic gold medals for the United States in men's basketball.
Can I say something? Or go ahead.
No, no, no. I've got one. I just have one more thought on the gold medal matchup with France, but I would like to
No,
hear
do
your
it
thought.
because my thing is a little bit of a spinoff.
Okay. Gershon Yabusele. Get that man some shoulder pads and a helmet. Guy look it thick. And he got drafted by the Celtics like years ago. But Yabusele, let's talk. American football, buddy. Come on.
Yeah,
Let's
I
see what
saw
he
him and
let's
I
see what
was
he
like,
got.
it
He
was
did
like you
dunk
could,
on LeBron. Now LeBron was taking a charge. It is what it is. But it was I the entire game I was going tight end or defensive end, tight end or defensive end.
well, it's like whenever you look at him, you're like, well, it's clear they don't play football in France because that's where that guy would be right now.
But no kidding. What are we doing?
Which ties into what I was going to say. Watching the Dream Team, the original Dream Team clips that were coming up, like prepare yourself of that times like 1,000 whenever flag football is in the 2028 Olympics. We're going to have pros running circles around guys that have never played the sport before, ever. But, I mean, what, 32 years ago? And look how far international basketball has come since then. Even though I still think it's stupid that it's going to be an Olympic sport next year or next Olympics. I mean, what they're doing is probably going to like do the same thing that basketball has done, right? So I could see the vision.
Did you see Jalen Hurts was on the promo? He
I
had like
well,
a
I
football that
don't know
was
if I
on
ever
fire and like threw it into the torch at the Coliseum.
nice. I
I was
saw
just
people
confused because
talking
like
about
he's
it.
not an
I
LA
didn't see it.
guy. I was excited to see it, but I was just in my head. I was like, "Really interesting." You'd think they would have had like Stafford throw it, like an LA person,
Yeah,
but it was Hurts.
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
Prepare to have professional NFL football players absolutely torch the rest of the world that has never played this sport.
I
It's
can't
going
wait.
to be funny to watch.
It'd be awesome. Tyreek Hill said he wants to do it.
Oh yeah.
Could you
Well,
imagine?
here's what I was telling people is like, well, you know, with the where the
Could you
Olympics are
imagine
and the
Tyreek Hill in Olympic Village? Oh boy, that's that is
I
a combustible situation.
hey, I guarantee like they will delay the start of the NFL if they have to. Like they want those guys to play in the Olympics to grow the sport. That
Yeah,
is going to be the NFL's got like a revenue crisis on their hands. It's hard to continue to grow unless they start growing internationally. So they'll do whatever they have to do to get their pros out there and get people watching it.
can't wait. Loser of the weekend. Ted, can I interest you in a gymnastics controversy?
Absolutely.
Jordan Chiles, my goodness. I mean, I cannot fathom how badly it would suck. No, she won the gold in the team competition. I understand that, right? She is a gold medalist, but there is a different feeling that comes with the individual competition stuff in any sport. And to win a bronze medal, only to have there's a bunch of acronyms. There's like IOC, there's like four other ones that this whole process goes through, but you you win a medal and then like 5 days later they tell you, hey, we're gonna need that back. I can't even imagine what that would feel like. In this process, it's not over because so for those of you that don't know what happened during the competition, the United States gymnastics coach protested or appealed that she should get an extra tenth of a point basically on the difficulty score. Wins that appeal, it ends up increasing her score and she ends up winning the bronze medal. That appeal was voided because, and they said it was voided because the appeal from the United States coach came 4 seconds too late. You've got a minute to let's put it in football terms. You've got a minute to challenge. And they said it came 4 seconds after that deadline. So the whole thing is wild, but now U.S. Gymnastics has submitted a letter to something called the Court of Arbitration for Sport, which I don't know what the hell that is, but they're involved in this, with video evidence that the coach appealed within the time frame, not once, Ted, but twice. At like 47 seconds and 55 seconds with video evidence. I don't know what's going to happen, but this thing is controversial to say the least.
Yeah, because originally they granted the appeal.
Correct.
And the other girl who thought she won,
oh, that was heartbreaking. I felt bad for her. The Romanian
was like running around with the flag, and then
got her heart ripped out.
Yeah, Jordan Chiles got to go up there and stand on the podium. So it's interesting. And here's what I want to know. I've got questions. So the difficulty, the way I've always understood it, and this could be totally wrong, you submit to the judges what you are going to do in your routine. And if there's elements that you may add or you may take out, like did they mess up and not give them the right routine?
I'm not going to pretend I know. I didn't. It wasn't in any of the things that I read. Like that scenario was not mentioned.
Because but the first thing I think of is like, how in the world could you go through all of that and spot instantly where the 10th should have been added unless you knew that, oh, we were supposed to add in this different element that she was going to do? That's the first thing that struck me.
I just think you need to figure this out before handing out Olympic medals.
Let's delay the.
I think it would be good to have
ceremony.
Yeah, it would be good to have things finalized before you start dishing out life-altering medals to people.
Yeah,
because you just have to have a better process than this. You gotta get things right. I understand you got to do it quickly in the Olympic setting, but to give someone an Olympic medal and then a couple days later said, no, you know what? We're going to need it back is insane. And I understand it's not the first time this has happened in gymnastics, but
you also maybe I just add in the original stripping. It's been stripped twice.
It seems like they could have a better system.
Yeah.
It's
And I
already
guess,
confusing enough with the difficulty score and all that stuff. At least hand the medals to the right people. That's all I'm
well,
asking.
so she was the last to go, Jordan Chiles was. And I guess the last person to go only has a minute to appeal, where everyone else that's in the middle of the competition has 4 minutes. So it
What sense
stands
does
to
that
reason.
make?
Exactly. If anything comes of this, hopefully they at least change the rule to where everyone gets the same amount of time to appeal.
Is there any chance the Romanian and Jordan Chiles both just get a bronze medal?
Yes.
Does that feel like the most likely outcome here?
Yeah, because let's be honest. A week from now, you got the bronze. Does anyone really care about the story behind it? Well, actually, you guys split it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just deal out the hardware
Yeah.
because it's
We'll
worth
see.
money. Like, I don't know, like
Yeah.
different countries give out different amount of money. Like, not only is it like the the accomplishment, but there's financial gain there.
I don't think the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee want any part with of not giving her the money. That I don't know what she gets for winning a bronze medal, but
Right.
you
Dish
don't
it
want to.
out.
You're paying that one out. But Jordan Chiles, because remember, didn't get to compete in the all around final because there's a limit of two people per country, which I think is so stupid. And then it looks like, as of now, that they're going to take her bronze medal away from her. I mean,
Mm.
just she's got the team gold medalist. No
Yeah.
one's ever taken that one from her, but man, just kind of she's got to be very frustrated.
Frustrated. Yeah. Well, hopefully she gets it. Hopefully the new video that's out or whatever. Hopefully she gets the medal. Maybe they both deserve it. I don't know.
Just have a system to where you know the people that are getting the medals and you don't have to ask for them back. That's all I'm asking for.
Hey, if we need to delay the podium celebration, let's delay it. Okay, we can postpone that for a little bit of time.
Feels fair. Birthday shout outs. Happy 13th birthday to Nora B.
Happy 35th birthday to Garrett Johnson.
Happy birthday to Don and Ivy Wynn.
And happy birthday to Kason Rogers, aka the Bigsby Warthog.
I'm going to need an explanation of that nickname.
That's awesome.
On that note, episode 447 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Wednesday. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hope you all have a great start to your week. And until next time, we appreciate you all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.